With the help of a neurological cartography and synaptic transfer system gadget run by physicians Henry West and Miriam Kent, child psychologist Catherine Dean is brought in to treat coma patients in an experimental virtual reality setting. This technology enables Dean to access a patient's unconscious mind and try to bring them back to consciousness. The parents of Edward Baines, a young child whose viral infection rendered him comatose and caused an uncommon form of schizophrenia, are the ones who are funding the technology. Dean steers clear of a bogeyman-like alter ego that has impeded Baines' progress. West and Kent, fearing the repercussions of Baines seeing a foreign world, reject Dean's offer to reverse the feed in spite of her lack of progress. Serial murderer Karl Rudolf Starger uses an automatic timer to imprison his victims in a glass enclosure that gradually fills with water. He then utilizes a hoist in his basement to hang himself above the victims' bodies so he can watch the film that shows their deaths. Just as the FBI is about to identify him, he passes away from the same mental disease and goes into a coma, leaving them without any information regarding the whereabouts of his most recent victim, Julia Hickson. Agent Peter Novak convinces Dean to infiltrate Starger's psyche and locate Hickson in light of this new technology. Dean ventures into the gloomy dream world of Starger's deranged mind, replete with lifelike doll representations of his victims. Young Starger, the embodiment of Starger's innocent side, guides Dean through his recollections of being mistreated by his violent father. Dean raises young Starger with the intention of learning Hickson's whereabouts, but she is stopped by another apparition that rules the dreamscape, King Starger, a demonic idealization of his homicidal side. Dean is tortured by King Starger to the point where she loses consciousness. As Drive West keeps an eye on Dean's vitals, she finds this out. He cautions that Dean's physical body will suffer neurological harm as a result of what transpires during her integration into Starger's mindscape. In order to help Dean recall who she is, Novak offers to go into Starger's head. As Starger's servant, Dean watches as Novak is kidnapped and tortured by King Starger inside Starger's head. To make Dean aware that she is in Starger's head again, Novak brings up a traumatic memory of her younger brother, who passed away following a 6-month coma from a vehicle accident when she was a college student. To release Novak, Dean stabs King Starger after escaping Starger's grasp. Novak notices a duplicate of the glass enclosure bearing the same emblem as the hoist in Starger's basement when they are making their getaway. Novak's team finds out that Starger was recruited by the government to secure the hoist's property when its former owner filed for bankruptcy. Arriving at the scene in a flash, Novak discovers Hickson breathing via a pipe and treading water inside the enclosure. After shattering the glass wall, Novak saves Hickson. Now that she has grown to care about young Starger, Dean shuts her colleagues out and flips the device's feed in an attempt to take control of Starger's thoughts. Young Starger is shown a reassuring paradise by her, but he is aware that it is merely a short-term escape from King Starger. He switches to adult Starger and tells a tale from his early years about how, out of mercy, he drowned an injured bird to spare it from his father's punishment. This time, Dean is in charge and she beats King Starger into a bloody pulp before impaling him with a sword. King Starger appears as a scaly snake man. But young Starger has the same wounds as King Starger, and Starger is killed by either appearance. The adult Starger tells her the bird's story again and begs her to save him. As Starger passes away in the actual world, Dean puts young Starger to death by carrying him into a pool. Following the incident, Dean and Novak cross paths outside Starger's residence. Dean has been given permission to use the reverse feed on Edward Baines, and the FBI has formally dropped the mind technology from their investigation. Bane steps inside Dean's mindscape paradise and gives Dean a hug.